Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Today is Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019. Time is 9:02. Madam Clerk, are there any additions to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman. There's no additions to the agenda.
All right. County Council, if you can please read the items into the record for closed session.
Yes, Chairman, there are 4 items for the board to consider during closed session today. The first is under Government Code Section 54957.6. You have a conference with your labor negotiators, and your representatives are Adrian Caleb and Ken Cave. Under negotiations is your all units. You have an anticipated litigation. There's significant exposure under 54956.9, paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D, and that's one case. Under Government Code 54956.9, subsection D1, there's existing litigation. This is the Service Employees International Union Local 521 versus the County of Madera. There's an unfair practice charge, and that number for that unfair practice charge is listed on the agenda. And the last item is conference with real property negotiator. Your negotiator is Eric Fleming, your County Administrative Officer. The real property APN number is listed on the agenda, and under negotiations is price in terms of that APN. Thank you.
Is there any public comment on any of the closed session items? Seeing none, I'll call close to public comment, and we will go to closed session now. Okay, we're back from closed session. County Council, can you please, were there any reportable actions?
Chairman, there are no reportable actions from today's closed session.
Thank you. And then we were having some technical difficulties with our projector, so we're going to reboot the system. We'll take a short recess. We'll start the meeting probably around 10:20. I think that gives them enough time, so everyone can talk to each other.
Take 5 now?
We'll take about 10.
Okay.
10 to 15, yeah.
Take a minute.
Stop talking, everybody. It's too loud. Okay. Yeah, we're in after the like wrote the letter and said trying to see the wolves in there grabbing like you have something else go like that. Yeah. Peter Weller. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was a good character. Kind of bad in the end, where
Tried to switch it over and yeah, there's enough that I knew. I was like, no.
but it wasn't like every episode. It wasn't like it was infrequent enough that I could watch it. So it was pretty
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it was one of those ones where you had to spend some
give a little creative
you give some
license.
creative license, and they were trying to take it back, like what it would have been in the old West, but in like the new, and he was like an old soul from the original.
Yeah, the other thing is, we don't respond to your person or some of this. Hey, go do this. I'm thinking, yeah, we're staying better than that now, but at the time I'm thinking, hey, that's one of our ships. Actually, it's more than one of our ships. The supervisor, well, two people.
Yeah, that was, but I even like how they would bring that up. At one point, when they let deputies wear whatever they want, they drive whatever they want, and then Ford talked about, it's nice I can, when I'm on surveillance, and no one knows I'm on fire.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, I was sad to see it. And I was glad once I first started watching it. I don't know. I think I liked it. So
I'll meet you out there.
okay, at your truck. So then we paid for some of the episodes. And then it got canceled. It's like Andy's highest rated. It was our highest rated show, but it's not the budgets were going. It's like you can so then thank goodness like Netflix the 2 or 3 seasons just to kind of finish off. I read all the books now too.
I think that's what I would have heard that.
So I sent the guy an email about one book. He never answered me because one of the books
All right, it looks like our projector's back on. I just wanted to make sure that even though you can see us in person, I wanted everyone to see us really big up on a screen too. That's very important. Good morning and welcome. Sorry for a little bit of a late start, but it's 10 a.m. We'll start with our invocation. David Doherty. Oh, here it is, right here. David Doherty from Harvest Community Church. And then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Shanero, if you'd like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Let's pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, thank you for today. Thank you for fixing the technical situation here. Thank you for the men and the women, Lord, here in Madera County. Madera County's Board of Supervisors, all that they do, give them wisdom, give them favor, give them understanding. Lord, watch over this county, Lord God, every situation, from the mountains to the valleys. And we ask these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I took this a little bit out of order. Sorry, we'll now open and close in the memory. And Supervisor Wheeler, I believe you have somebody.
There, now it's working. Eldrin Sherman, longtime tribal member in North Fork, is a veteran, and I know he's close to 90. I tried to find out his age, but he passed away this week, and he's a great friend, and he worked in the woods too until they environmentalists shut it down. So he kind of retired after that and just done good things for all the neighbors and all the tribe and the Morrow tribe and stuff. And so he's going to be missed up there. And he smiled as much as anybody in the whole world did. So thank you, Chair.
Are there any other? Will bring us to public comment. Madam Clerk.
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
It's your turn.
I guess. I never had deal with. My name is Diana Crasium. I'm in from Hogan's Mountain Road in Corsco, California. I'm on federal allotment land, which is Indian land, and I've been there for some 1970.
1970?
Yeah. So you can figure it out. I'm too old too. And on July 25th of 19, which was last year, 2018, the Madera Animal Service came onto the property. I was not there. I came up afterwards. We told them they were on federal allotment land. She said she didn't care. She had a badge. and she stole my dogs, which are all Chihuahuas, from my motorhome and my son's trailer. And when she went into my home, she pushed me aside, and which caused a blood clot to form in my left leg. From that point on, she went into the white trailer, which was my son's trailer, and she tore off the door on it, which made it impossible for him to stay in it. And she confiscated all of his dogs, and then came back onto my trailer and confiscated mine, but leaving 3 of them there. I want my dogs. That's all I want. I want nothing else. I don't want to sue Madera County. I know I have grounds. I do not want to sue. I just want my dogs back. And I had 22 and a half dogs. The half is a 1-month-old baby. My son had 16.
And they didn't show no search warrant.
They showed me no search warrant. They said they didn't need one. They also did not have a federal marshal with them, which is what I was told is the must.
And they called out the sheriff.
And they called the sheriff out on that.
And the sheriff said,
And he talked to his wife, who is a Chichansi Indian, and she said that he could not be on that property.
no jurisdiction.
No jurisdiction. The officer asked Dan Lutz, and he told the Madera Control to put the dogs back onto the property and leave, but they refused. They put them into a stock trailer.
And also, if you could state your name, sir, since there was some comment from you too, and sign in as well.
I can't hear you.
Your son, if he could state
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah, because your
and
time's
his-
up, Diane.
And sign in as well.
My name is Robert Johnson, and I live on the land. I am not Chichansi, by the way, but I am Cherokee Indian, and I was taken in by a elder of the Chichansi tribe, who has since now has deceased, but I am allowed to stay on the land by the tribe. And I took my mom at that time. She had a doctor's appointment down in Oakhurst. I had to take her to that doctor's appointment. Unfortunately, the doctor had a emergency and he canceled all appointments. So I came back, and as I came back, they were loading these dogs up, hanging them up off of all 4 feet and putting them into the stock trailer, and you don't do that with Chihuahuas. And so, and they didn't, and at the time I told them that this is federal allotment land. Where is I don't see a federal marshal, nor did you show me a search warrant. And you need both. And she said, and the officer that came out, which was Officer Dan Lutz, told them the same thing. You had to put all these dogs back on either in the trailer or aside so they can take care of them and get on the land, because we have no federal, we have no jurisdiction on federal land. And so, and she refused to do that. And then she pushed herself into my mom's motorhome and pushed her aside, which caused her to have the problem that she had, which kept her into the hospital for a week. And she just bulldozed herself in and took all the dogs, did not have any concern about her health or what it would do to her, and the officer was standing right there and allowed it to happen. And all we don't want to go to court, which it would probably have to go to federal court if it did go to court. We don't want to do that, and we just want our dogs. And we just want to let this go, be bygone, be bygone. We don't want to sue Madera County, which is what we don't want to do. We just want what they have no right to take. They stole the dogs. And now she's stating that she has them fostered home, and she's claimed that they're homed in this foster home. And she has deliberately, and she said, work with me. So we worked with her. She told us to do this and to do that. You'll get your dogs back. So we did that, and we did this. And we haven't gotten the dogs back yet. And so she is basically has made a point of stealing these dogs off of this land.
Thank you. The 3
time's up,
minutes is
Robert.
up.
And I have another witness here, another gentleman up there who also lives on the land, and he witnessed the whole thing happening.
Does he want to speak?
Hmm?
Does he want to speak?
I would like to have him speak if he wants to.
He would have 3 minutes as well if you'd like to.
Okay, your time's up, Robert, so. Okay.
Thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you for coming down.
Morning. My name is David Fisher, and I live on the property with them. I'm their next door neighbor, and I was there when they pulled up in a stock trailer, the trailer, and they took all the dogs and shoved them into the trailer. I don't have much to say. I just seen what I saw, so. And they're telling the truth. They're right. What they saw and what they've seen and what happened. I knew these people for like almost 20 years, and they're good people, and she loves her dogs. That's all it means to her is to get her dogs back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment at this time? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment portion. And we'll move on to item 5, consent calendar. Are there any items?
I'd just like to,
Go ahead.
say something about item E, the voting system and stuff. I know this is just to get us, I guess, more dollars or something to redo it, Rebecca there, but I just wanted to brag about our county clerk for taking the initiative to try this, the new voting system. Out of 17 counties that was offered to, only 5 did it, and she was one of them. And I just want to congratulate her because we had one of the best turnouts in the state. And they done a big article in the Fresno Bee. It's on 3 different pages. It's on the front page starting out. And I just wanted to have her stand and give her a big hand. So thank you, Becky, for bringing us up to the 20th century. Still proving that we've got the best big little county in the state of California. So everybody works together, and that's what we get done. So
I think it's also important to note on this item that this is still while there's money available to update, given the larger turnouts than we had ever had, that this is to have more capacity to get people through even quicker. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's coming from that pot of money for us to implement it, right? So it's not coming out of our general fund?
yeah, another thing on that line, Fresno County now has decided they're going to do this too. So they're working on trying to convert over. So
Rebecca Martinez, Clerk Recorder. So we had set aside money to make the initial purchase of the voting equipment, and it was after the June election that we noticed it wasn't sufficient. there wasn't a sufficient number of units, if you will. And so we needed to buy more equipment to the tune of about $36,000. At the end of the day, there are lots of pots of money that we can go in and request reimbursement for. So we're hoping at the end of the day that we are made whole, because there's money that I saved from 2006. So there's like 399,000 in one pot, and there was 178 or so in another pot. So we're going to go after that money and get ourselves reimbursed.
Beautiful.
There's another pot for $378,000. It seems to be more restrictive, so we may hold off from going after certain funds until we deplete that, because we want every dollar, and I want to make sure that Madera County is whole. We've been diligent about saving all of our invoices so that we can get reimbursed for all the money that we're entitled to get back, so.
Great.
It's the way to do it. Keep one step ahead.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the consent calendar? If not, I'll take it out to the public. Is there any public comment on the consent calendar? Seeing none, call close to public comment, bring it back to the board for action.
I made a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers? Yes. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Yes. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Perfect. That was awesome, Rhonda. Oh. All right, we are after 10:30, so we'll start with the public hearings. Item 6A.
6A, Community and Economic Development Department Planning Division, hearing to consider the application of Atwell Petroleum, Inc. for the letter of public convenience and necessity to obtain a Type 20 off-premise license to allow the sale of beer and wine at a mini-mart. The property is owned by Robert and Julie Mitchell and is located on the southeast corner of Avenue 12 and Highway 99.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt Treber, Planning Director, here with you. I also have Jamie Bax, my deputy, and Kamara Biawoji, our Planner 1. With that, Kamara has a brief PowerPoint presentation for this item today.
Good evening, board members. My name is Kamara Biawoji, and my applicant is Atwell Petroleum, Inc. This is Letter of Convenience and Necessity, 2018-028. The location, the parcel is located on the southeast corner of Avenue 12 and Highway 99, 29092 Avenue 12, Madera. Application is for a letter of public inconvenience and necessity for an alcoholic beverage control Type 20 license. As you can see here, the parcel is a split for general plan. The top sliver portion is HSC, Highway Service Commercial, and the bottom portion is A for agricultural. Same for the zoning. For this, the split zoning, top portion is CRH, Commercial Rural Highway, and the bottom portion is agricultural rural exclusive 40 acre. As you can see here, the project is located in Census Tract 10, and the map shows the entirety of the census tract. And right here is a 2-mile radius, and as you can see, there's no other licenses, Type 20 licenses in that census tract, or in the 2-mile radius of that census tract. Once again, applicant is requesting a Type 20 of off-premise alcohol beverage and control license. A Type 20 off-premise authorizes sale for beer and wine for consumption of off-premise sales. This includes grocery stores, convenience stores, mini marts, etc. ABC requires a letter of convenience and necessity when the number of existing licenses is greater than the number of licenses allowed in the census tract. And then for Census Tract 10, 4 is actually allowed, and they have permitted 10. Staff recommends approval of letter of convenience and necessities CUP 2018-028. Open for questions.
Any questions? This is a public hearing. I'll now open the public hearing. Any members of the public wishing to make comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion of this public hearing. Nailed it. And bring it back to the board.
I move that we approve item 6A.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Yeah, that's.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes?
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
All right. Thank you very much. Item 6B.
6B, Community and Economic Development Department, Planning Division. Hearing to consider the application of R&J Guthrie, Inc. for the letter of public convenience and necessity to obtain a Type 20 off-premise license to allow the sale of beer and wine at a mini mart. The property is owned by Roger Guthrie and is located on the north side of Avenue 12, approximately 450 feet east of its intersection with Maywood Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we do have another brief PowerPoint presentation that Emily Lane from my office will kick off right now for you.
Have you heard this presentation before?
Slightly different.
Good morning, supervisors. So this is Letter of Convenience and Necessity, CUP 2018-027. This project is located, or this parcel is located on the north side of Avenue 12 and approximately 450 feet east of its intersection with Maywood Drive. Address is 37247 Avenue 12 in Madera. Looking at the general plan, this property has the designation of CC, Community Commercial. Looking at the zoning, this property is zoned Commercial Rural Median, abbreviated CRM. Looking at the census tract, this property is located in a cluster, and there's one lone ABC license along Avenue 15 and Highway 41. Zooming in, this map shows a quarter-mile radius around the proposed site. There are 6 existing ABC licenses within that quarter-mile radius. The applicant is requesting a Type 20 off-premise alcoholic beverage control license. This type of license includes grocery stores, convenience stores, and similar establishments. This establishment is a convenience store and mini mart. And then to continue, the staff has recommended approval for this letter of convenience and necessity.
Any questions of staff? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. I'll now open the public comment portion of the public hearing. Is there any members of the public wishing to come forward and make comment? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment portion of the public hearing and bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, and
I
we
hit the button.
Oh, and so we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you,
His doesn't not working.
team.
Thank you.
7A,
Yes, 7A.
Water and Natural Resources Department Flood Control, Flood Maintenance Assistance Grant Program. 1, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution authorizing a proposal for funding from the Department of Water Resources and designating a representative to execute the agreement and any amendments thereto for the Flood Maintenance Assistance Program project. 2, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with the State of California via the Central Valley Flood Protection Board for the Flood Maintenance Assistance Program project, and authorize the Director of Water and Natural Resources to prepare and submit the grant application package to receive grants from the Department of Water and Natural Resources.
Thank you. Good morning. Stephanie Anagnuson, Director of Water and Natural Resources, and Tristan Champ, Grant Manager from Administration. Tristan's going to give you some background on this particular grant, and I'll give you the details. We'll be brief.
All right, the Flood Maintenance Assistance Program, or the FMAP grant, is a new program providing state funds for the maintenance activities to local maintenance agencies, or LMAs, for the purpose of obtaining acceptable maintenance from the state plan of flood control facilities, or levees, channels, or other structures. The primary goals of this program are to reduce the chance of flooding and property damage during high water events, to improve public safety, community preparedness, and emergency response by providing funding and planning to help address the maintenance issues associated with the state levees.
So the funds we're eligible for include $20,000 for a letter of intent that says we're going to get the levies back into the PL 8499 program, Public Law 8499, which maintains certain standards for the levies. We also are eligible for $20,000 towards an engineering study to figure out how to assess within the district. And we're also eligible for 75% matching funds for the first 10,000 per mile, and then 15% matching funds for expenditures. So our preliminary estimate was that was about $300,000 total that we're eligible for by applying for this grant. That concludes our short presentation.
That's great. Got you on first.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Water's too important to have it at the end when everyone's tired. Supervisor Poitras.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Stephanie, you mentioned we might be in line for roughly $300,000. What would be then, in terms of the math, as far as what the total project cost would be to bring everything up to speed, and what would be the source of those funds?
So that's a really good question. Right now, there are very small amounts of funds that people are assessed for this district, with an average budget of about $160,000 per year. Now, the budget statewide per mile is $25,000 to $50,000. So that's what we should be spending, and we're probably at the higher end, 50, because of the deferred maintenance. So if I were to estimate a preliminary budget, if we're actually funding the district as it needs to be funded, it's probably in the millions, and probably 5 to 10. So this is a drop in the bucket, but it is public funds, and we are absolutely the target audience for this grant. It's for agencies that are out of compliance and to get them back in compliance.
Yeah, absolutely. Any dollar we can get is really important. Is there any sort of plan in terms of what you can see that we might be able to find more funding for levee repair, or is that to be determined?
There are a number of different grants that have come up. There's one that Tristan always brings them to our attention. There's a Central Valley grant, particularly for us, but part of our challenge with this agency is that we don't have enough to even make them match. So if we can fund the agency more, we will be able to get more grants.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. We've been working on that amount of money for this budget, for their budget, since I've been on this board. And I don't know what the answer is, Rob, to get us more money. We've got a few grants for different things over the years, but it's really an ongoing problem for us. And I don't, maybe we ought to start working on something to see what we can do to try to get more money in that budget, where we assess these farmers or whatever to start getting it. So we got to do something so we can get those in tip-top shape and keep that Arundel out of there too, so. Thank you.
Supervisor Rogers?
I think we need to maybe establish an impact fee for all building. The fact is that if the levees are not maintained, you can't even get insurance
Right.
at some point to build within the scope of those flood protections if they're not certified. And so I think you can make a nexus, direct connection to building residences, permits, what have you, in that regard, to assess an impact fee for flood control. I think it's as important as roads. I mean, and the fact is that we all understand there is an impact, there is a direct correlation between our flood control channels and groundwater recharge and water issues. I think that everybody understands that now that didn't understand it before. The removal of Arundo is a big issue, and that's created some issues that we've dealt with a lot of that, but it's an ongoing maintenance deal. It just doesn't, it's not a one-time shot.
Right.
So we're going to have to develop those. I'm not really big on creating a new tax, but I think this is an impact that needs a fee at a building permit level. Thank you.
Any other comments?
May I add one comment, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did, with your direction, go out with an RFQ for a consultant to begin the engineering study that could result in a rate assessment. So you will see that in 2 weeks in Chowchilla. So, and I would echo what you said, Supervisor Rogers. Flood control is really the basis for everything that we're doing under SGMA.
Yep.
If we can't keep the water in the channels, we can't harness it for recharge. So these are connected potential assessments.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's easier to start with our existing infrastructure to get it up to where it needs to be able to take that versus building more first and not taking care of what we already have. So this is the right start. Supervisor Rogers?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that our flood control capacities, they were designed to be much larger than they have actually become. The capacities have been diminished by, in some cases, I think half. Am I right, Dario? So there at points, you've got to fix what you have, and that's where we're at. We would love to have more water brought into the region. But how can we do that when our existing channels are way below their capacity to deliver? So
Yep.
that's a very important point.
All right. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain them. I'll take it out to the public first. Is there any public comment on this item? See none, I'll call close to public comment and.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you so much.
Keep up the great work, both of you.
Thank you.
Item 7C.
7B.
B?
B.
County
that's
clerk.
right.
County clerk.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You thought she already talked enough, huh?
Yeah.
County Clerk Recorder and Registrar of Voters Department, HAVA contract and resolution. 1, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution approving Help America Vote Act funding and authorizing the County Clerk Recorder to execute HAVA funding agreements. 2, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with the state of California in the amount of $25,000 for HAVA Section 101 and authorize the Madera County Clerk Recorder to execute the agreement.
Don't we already have a funding agreement?
I'm sorry?
Don't we already have a funding agreement?
We have a lot of funding agreements. This is just one of 6, actually.
Have a,
So Rebecca Martinez, Clerk Recorder, request to enter into the contract and then be given permission to sign all of the others that come through and go get our money.
any questions?
Move to approve. Oh, you gotta go. public, I'm
Any
sorry.
public wishing to comment on this item? See none, I'll call close to the public
Move
comment.
to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes?
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
7D, just kidding, 7C.
7C, Board of Supervisors Department, discussion and consideration to authorize the chairman to sign a letter of support for the Downtown Madera Veterans and Family Housing Project.
No, you
can do down
You
here.
can sit right up here. I feel like you're at a Senate hearing or something.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. My name is Anthony Duhon, Chief of Staff for Supervisor Rob Poitras, and today I have also Michael Segala from Segala Inc. So honestly, Segala Inc., they've been coordinating the majority of all the meetings and doing most of the legwork for this project. But honestly, I'm very excited about just be able to present to you guys this project, because this is pretty much the testament of what can be done when municipalities and organizations are working together for a common goal, which simply only helps our citizens here. So this has been a project that it's been pretty fun to see. Just there's so many people at the table. So we have the city, the county, behavioral health, Veterans Service Office, the police, sheriff, social services, CAPMC, MCTC, MORS. Just to say the least, and the Housing Authority, of course. So I'm going to give it to Michael for a very quick little update on what's going on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Supervisors. Pleasure to be here. Michael Segala. We've been engaged with the Housing Authority to act as development consultants in bringing this project forward. As Anthony noted, Anthony's been a great advocate for the project as well, and a great staff member. We've been working on this project for about 6 or 7 months. We're going after funding from the state's cap and trade program, Affordable Housing, Sustainable Communities. This is, obviously cap and trade generated money that the state wants you to put into transformational projects that help to get folks out of their cars as well. So we identified 2 vacant parcels in downtown Madera and C and Fifth Avenue, and the RDA and the city have graciously provided the land through the project as well, and we're proposing 2 3-story buildings serving veterans and families for your downtown area, totaling 48 units. The project comes with a lot of additional funding for bicycle, pedestrian, and transit improvements around the area, so the project area around this site is virtually the whole city of Madera, if you will, and so we've included thousands of linear feet of new sidewalks, new bike lanes, improvements to the multimodal station, transit station, and bike routes, improvement to the Rotary Park nearby. That would be the Sunrise Rotary Park. Improvements to safety enhancements around Washington Elementary School. So again, $3 million at least comes with this project funding, aside from the housing for downtown Madera. So all the partners, and Anthony noted them, and they're on the information you have been very supportive for this. Dennis with Behavioral Health is participating as well with some of the units we're setting aside as supportive housing. So overall, we think, you do too, that this is a very positive and transformational project for downtown Madera and in the greater region. Madera hasn't got its fair share of housing from this particular program. Madera and Merced counties in the San Joaquin Valley are the only counties that haven't been awarded a project. So we hope to get that for you. The application's due February 11th. It's a $24 million project in totality, of which several million, like I noted, is going towards the bike ped and other transit improvements. There's a town hall meeting, and you have a flyer for that Anthony, I don't know if you noted it, it's next Tuesday, January 29th at George Washington Elementary School at 6 p.m. So we hope to have our partners and residents attend that meeting as well. So that's it. I think we're asking for a letter of support, so we would appreciate that, but I don't have anything to add, Anthony. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I believe we have a couple comments from Mr. Koch, correct? And I believe that should be all with our presentation.
Cook.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. You can't say it and look at it at the same time.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, you can't look at the spelling and then try to say it. It kind of throws
We're
you.
conditioned to think C-O-K-E is Coke.
Yeah.
Well, and the Koch brothers. Yeah, that.
Oh, Uncle Don.
Couple billionaires that are.
Yeah, Uncle Don and Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
Wish I wouldn't have cut ties with them, you know? I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, with regards to the project, we were kind of latecomers to this project, and once we heard of it and they heard about us having some housing money, it really came out well. And just a reminder, on January 8th, your board authorized us to sign a letter of commitment for $500,000. We had some funding that's going towards housing, and we'll have some of those units, and we'll provide support services. And what that means is that our clients that will be referred there, we go out and work with them every day to keep them in the housing, work through any issues that they have as far as being housed. I think it's a wonderful project, especially when you look at how the architect, how it looks like, the design in that. It is really some beautiful housing, and I happen to walk by that area a lot there, and it could really use some sprucing up, and what a great place for it. Yeah, great project.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. I love this. I tell you, I can't tell you how great it is. But also, is there any money like that for Eastern Madera County that we could go for?
They do have, for this particular program, they do have a rural set aside, and I think that's what you're talking about. So yes, it would require a transformational project on the rural sector, and we could definitely look at that if you would
We'd
like.
love you to.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to cover all of Madera County, so.
Supervisor Poitras?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I think many of us know Mike Segala from his work with the San Joaquin Valley Policy Council, but a lot of people don't know, at least in this area, that he helped develop, he was the lead in developing something called Magnolia Crossing in Clovis, and it's housing for the elderly. And it's.
Did you get that right? Like him.
Elderly only. And it's different. It's actually, it looks like homes, and it's not, say, a 3 or 4 or 5 story structure. And it's really beautiful. And if anybody, you know, happens to want to take a look at it and see what Mike's been able to put together in the past, I'm sure he provides you with the address. But it was just wonderful, and so that's the reason that he's capable and has the background to actually lead the charge to put something like this together.
Right.
Yeah, I've sat on multiple of these boards that are bringing this forward, so I've heard about it, and then to see, you know, the architecture like Dennis talked about, and looking to really transform downtown and provide housing for veterans and for, you know, this is something that has been needed. It does create that more urban feel, looking at the architecture of it, and that walkable communities in a downtown area where there are, you know, stores and that street level retail. It's what can be done, and to see kind of this, obviously this isn't the finished product, but what it's going to look like. Really, this is like, I used to sell apartment buildings. Something that looks like this would be, you would market it as pride of ownership, right? That this is something that you'd want your name attached to, and just a high-end look, so that when you're doing this, you know, kind of housing, there's a pride to living there, and an excitement around it. And I just want to compliment the work that has gone into it, bringing in the community, and then the product that is coming out of that is something that we can all be proud of. And so I want to thank you for that. Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, I'm happy to see us move away from monotonous conformity and T111 siding. I mean, come on, that stuff, after a while, needs so much maintenance, it's just irretrievable. So this look is so much better and so much more maintenance friendly. Take it from a builder. I mean, T111's good stuff it's strong. There's no doubt about it. But in time, you just can't make it look good.
Unless you keep it up.
Well, yeah, you gotta paint it every probably 6 years.
Yeah,
to
5 or
to
6,
keep
yeah.
it from, and especially on the south side, it's got to get hammered by the sun.
Yep.
And it just opens up the pores and makes it really, really difficult. So I'm glad to see us move to a very aesthetically pleasing type structure in these public projects.
Bless you.
Oh, Supervisor Rodriguez.
Those two parcels there, they're vacant. I think the perfect location for that project there. And really improved the neighborhood there, and I believe you won't get any opposition from the neighbors there. And also, a plus is they have, their Griffin Hall, I call it Griffin Hall, but they serve breakfasts in the morning.
That's right.
So that could serve that population there very handily. Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so does anyone want to, I'll take this out to the public for any public comment. See no public comment, bring it back. Do we need a
Thumbs
up for a letter of support?
Yes.
Right, 2 of them.
A vote is appropriate,
Do we need
Chairman,
to
in
have
this
a
case.
vote on
yes.
this
Vote is
Okay.
appropriate. I make a motion that we approve this with a great long letter. She said
This,
we.
this is in Max's.
Oh, yeah,
district.
Max, you do it. You're right.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Yeah.
Well done,
Thank you, Mike.
Good to see you.
All right.
Gary.
Thank you too, Dennis.
We put you after that because I know you were interested in that one too, serving on the Moores Board
Actually, yeah.
as well as the Housing Authority for years and
Heck
years.
of, heck of a project.
Yes.
And we're actually the developer, Moores.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, 7D.
Seven.
And I believe you don't have to read in everything, is that
Correct.
correct?
Right.
Yeah.
7D, County Administration Department, Human Resources Operations Division. Discussion and consideration of approval to amend the classification plan for the Madera County Assessor's Office effective February 1, 2019, as noted on today's agenda.
Chairman Frazier, members of the board, Gary Savanda, Madera County Assessor. What you find before you this morning is a request for your approval of reorganization for the management structure of the assessor's office. Having my chief appraiser retire at the end of 18, it afforded the opportunity to restructure the management element of the assessor's office. I recommend that we broaden and use the classifications as identified here in the item. You'll see that for each position asked for, there is a corresponding FTE that is eliminated. And I think we find that overall there is a substantial savings for the department and the county, and develop the most effective and efficient operation for the management of the assessor's office. So happy to answer any questions. I'd like to also thank Adrian and the HR department for helping me to put together, number one, this extensive item for your agenda, and all her help in developing and carrying through with the actions it takes to put this in place. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Supervisor Wheeler.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. You're starting your 5th year now, and you've really taken the bull by the horn, and you brought that whole department up, I think, really great what you've done. And this is just one more step, I think, to make it that much better and make it that much more receptive for our public out here when they come in and get answers. I haven't got nearly as many complaints as I used to get about
That's very good.
their assessment on their property. So it really makes it nice for me because they don't mind calling me or see me in the grocery line and say, hey, I need that fixed. Thank you, Gary.
Very welcome.
Are there any other questions? Or
To approve?
I'll take this out to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to make comment? Seeing no public, I'll call it back to the board.
I'll second.
And I wanted to compliment you on taking a look at this and really reorganizing it in a way that not only saves money but still makes it very efficient. And it's a model to be used.
Thank you.
Should be everywhere.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you,
Supervisor
Board.
Wheeler?
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Tom, you need to start voting.
Damn it.
Sorry. And Max is not voting. His is not working today. So,
Hit with a hammer.
yep. We're almost there. We're 80% of the way. I promise I didn't try and take away your vote. 7E.
7E, County Administration Department, Human Resources Operations Division. Discussion and consideration to ratify the side letters of agreement with the Clerical Communications Dispatcher, Correctional Officer, Deputy Probation Officer, Mid-Management, Peace Officer Management, Postgraduate Licensed Professional, Probation Administrators, Probation Management, and Technical Bargaining Units.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Adrienne Caleb reporting this morning. Before I speak on this item, I wanted to share with the board that you do have a side letter for the Correctional Officer Unit that was shared with you this morning. It should be there on the dais. There are also copies available for any members of the public. The recommended action does show that this item should be extended to the Correctional Officer Unit. Unfortunately, the side letter did not get added to the agenda in time for this meeting. But
it's there.
But it's there, yes, it is. This item and all of the side letters culminate the work between the county, yourself, our chief negotiator, our office, and all of our bargaining units. I'm proud to stand here and say that we've come to agreement with 11 out of the 13 bargaining units. Those 11 bargaining units and their representatives and their employees understand what this county is trying to accomplish when it comes to ensuring the fiscal solvency of this agency, as well as also recognizing employees for the hard work that they perform each and every day. So I'm here to answer any questions. Our hope is that the two other bargaining units that are outstanding, we are still in negotiations, and our hope is that we come to an agreement with those individuals soon.
Have they been offered the same as these other bargaining units?
Yes, they have, Chairman. They have been offered the same offer, the proposals. The proposals are proposals that are very beneficial to our employees in that they give an increase, 3% in January of 19 as well as 3% in January of 20. And at this point in time, that is the best that we could do for our employees. The organizations that are outstanding, which are represented by SEIU, have not accepted the county's offer.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that too.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay, absolutely. We need that out there. I just want to thank all 11 of those bargaining units. We worked really hard over the years to come up with these, I think, great agreements. It's not the best we thought we could do, but with what the money we had, this was right at the edge of, as much as we could do. And I'm just happy that it took us a lot of years to get to this point with our bargaining units, that we've got them all, the birthdays at the same time, and to change into that, because a couple of them aren't happy with this, we're not going to do. I want everybody to know that we've worked too hard to get to this point. I really want to thank Adrian and Ken for their bargaining expertise, and I want to thank all 11 of these bargaining units to help us keep afloat, so we're not like some of our neighboring counties that's having a little bit of financial troubles. This gets us out of that, keeps us competitive with our fellow counties, that we can keep our people here, and I can't thank them enough. So thank you.
And Adrian, so with these that are coming in today, because they're on here, the raise starts January 1. If it's not on here today, our policies don't allow retroactivity, is that correct?
You are absolutely correct. The employees for the 11 bargaining units will receive the increase effective January 1st, which will impact this month's paycheck. I do have to thank Kim Brooks in my office, as well as Linda Ely. They've been really working hard to make sure that these are effective this month, and that we won't have to go back and do any type of adjustment. So there are a lot of people that are working really hard behind the scenes to make this happen for our employees.
Okay.
And it takes that great leadership to get them all in line here to get that done.
I have great employees.
Yeah, we do. We got the best in the West. I got news for you.
All right. If there's no other questions, I'll take it out to the public for comment. Any members of the public wishing to comment? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment and bring it back to the board for action.
I'll make that motion, but I also want to say this is for a 2-year contract too.
It's
It's
2
not
year.
1 year, it's 2 years, so.
Second.
Did you bring in the motion?
Yeah.
I did.
You did? Oh, perfect. Madam
Hey,
Clerk?
we're one step ahead of you once in a while.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Good job, Tatiana. She had her gas mask on.
Flying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasp.
Wasps? Yeah. All right, 7F.
7F, County Administration Department, Human Resources Operation Division. Discussion and consideration to approve a salary adjustment, 3% increase to unrepresented employees, including appointed and elected department heads, excluding the Board of Supervisors, effective January 1, 2020.
This item is an extension of the item that was just presented before the board. And what this item does is that it extends the 3% increase to all unrepresented employees effective January 1, 2020. At the time where I brought an item before the board in November, we had not yet extended the 3% for the second year to the represented employees. And so now because we want equity and fairness amongst all employee groups, we are extending this offer as well.
Are there any? Supervisor Poitras?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to ask a question in terms of our budget, since this is for future budgets. We anticipate that there will be sufficient funding in those budgets to take care of these increases.
Very good question, Supervisor Poitras. Yes, we have done the analysis, and we've looked at our trending revenues over the last few years, and we feel confident that we can afford these increases over the next 2 years.
Very good. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll take it out to the public. Any members of the public wishing to make comment at this time? Seeing none, I'll call close to public comment to bring it back to the board for action.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Again, just wanting to say again that our other elected officials, as you can see what Gary just presented to us to save us money and more efficient department, and all of our leaders, our unrepresented employees, which we have a few. They've done one heck of a job to get us where we are today, where we weren't 5, 6, 7 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
All right. Any pending legislation? None? All right. Supervisor and staff reports. I'll start to my right. Supervisor Poitras?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, I attended an Agency on Aging meeting, a CSAC Institute class, and on Sunday afternoon, I attended the MLK celebration at MLK.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes, attended RCRC. We sworn in new officers at RCRC. One of the great things that's happening is the organization is growing, actually. We're up to 36 counties now. And that's out of the 58 in the state of California, which is a super majority of counties. And
Super minority of people.
And a minority of people, representing over 4 million people. But one of the interesting facts, there's several facts that are very interesting. In RCRC, the representation encompasses 75% of its water, over 75% of the ag industries, and significant portions of industry in general. So it's a really impacting organization. I'm proud to be part of it.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. Had the honor, I guess, to be asked to be a food judge again for their annual 4-H Madera County 4-H food fair at Minarets High School Saturday. And those kids, I wish you guys could, if you look at my Facebook post, every year, I've been doing it about 10 years, and it seems like every year they step up another notch. I don't think there was one bad presentation or one bad piece of food. There's about 14 categories, and from dairy to main dishes to desserts, pastries, decoration. And I always try to pick the main dish because one year I said, oh, I want the desserts. By the time I got done, I was sick.
Yeah.
I tell you, eating all that sweet at lunch. And it was hard to pick a winner this time. They did such a good job, and they're from a lot of them from Chowchilla, Madera, the mountains. I mean, and they're probably 120 entries. So Pat Strimming does a great job organizing this, and she's been a leader up there probably for 3 decades. And then later on that same Saturday, I announced a couple weeks ago that Lulu Finley died up there. Grew up in North Fork and Albury, and lived in Oakhurst for a year. We had her celebration Saturday, and it was totally amazing what the people had to say and bringing everybody together. It's a heck of a way to bring people together, but if she was watching us, which she probably was probably celebrating and dancing up there, so thank you.
All right, and I meant to do this at public comment, but I'll do it right now. Just want to remind everybody, our next Board of Supervisors meeting will be February 5th. It's going to be our first on the road of the year in Chowchilla. At Chowchilla City Hall. Closed session will start at 4 and regular session at 5. David will expect you to pack the audience with people to hear about what's going on. Anything from our CEO or County Council?
Nothing to report.
No report, Chairman.
A reminder that the following day, February 6th, is our Boy Scout Civics Day. I believe you all have the forms to turn in to have a scout as well. So, and that starts in the afternoon. Our mock board meeting is at 1:30 that afternoon.
Great. And then I also wanted to point out, you did a wonderful job today. I thought that was as smooth as it could have been. Thank you for getting everything together. But on the voting, I thought that worked out really well. And so thank you to you for really honing that in and getting that dialed in. I think we're good. Now, with that, I'll call a close to the meeting before noon.
You're just trying to break every record we've ever done.